time, it certainly does just fly right on by. Here we are at the middle of the week, Wednesday's edition of Student of the Gun Radio.
Would you say that time flies like an eagle?
I don't know.
I just wondered. I was going to sing the Fly Like an Eagle song, but then I realized my voice doesn't
Really?
go that high.
Really?
Yeah. I made the conscious decision to stop that before.
That's probably best.
Yeah.
Probably best. No, it is the middle of the week show, and we've got a lot for you, and so we're going to get right into it because we are. I am your host, Professor Paul Markle, and I have to remember to do that. Even Rush Limbaugh, who's been on the air for 25, going on 3 decades, still says who he is. And you're like, well, that's stupid because I tuned in because, well, I know, but you got to realize what, Jared? What have we been slapped in the face with here a bunch recently?
New people.
Yeah. Well, the new people don't slap us in the face, but we're slapped in the face by the reality that each and every day new people do join us for our show. And it just dumbfounds me that, I don't know. People jump in there, they send us messages, and they're like, how do you do this? Or like, I've only talked about that like 27 times.
I just need to make a FAQ page. I started one on studentofthegunradio.com because I had so many of the same questions.
Do people go to those?
Yes, because
they do?
I actually got
good.
an email from, and we have like a little help thingy in the bottom right of Student of the Gun Radio. So when you send me an email, it tells me which page you sent it from. Mm-hmm. And a few have come from the frequently asked questions, and they asked a question that was not on the page.
Well, good.
So thank you for that.
Yeah, it's like when I was accused of when I made that comment about Hatch and about how I don't have any skin in the game and I've never put my life on the line for what? I don't even. I did the Who is Paul Markle YouTube video like 3 years ago, or more. Just because the people are like, who the hell's this guy and why should I listen to him? I don't know.
I actually have a plan.
You have a plan? I want to hear your plan.
No, yeah, you want to hear my plan, but I can't tell everybody else. It's secretive.
We have a secret plan.
But I have a plan on how to help out all the newer people. It'll be pretty easy for us. So actually, it won't be easy for us at all. It'll be once we do all the hard stuff, it'll be easy.
Oh, after we do the work, it'll be easy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, here we are at Student of the Gun Radio. You've decided to join us today. Congratulations and kudos. We're coming to you from the Silencer Shop Studios, home of the glass case of emotion.
Silencershop.com, the easiest way to buy silencers online, period. And maybe even the easiest way to go watch content about silencers.
Yeah.
Just saying.
If you have a question, you're like, I don't have a silencer, I don't have a suppressor, I don't have a moderator or a muffler, but I want one, I think. What should I do? Go to silencershop.com, and they will hold your hand, and they will walk you through it and answer your questions and all that good stuff.
And if you can't find your answer on silencershop.com, then contact their support department because I've heard that they are some of the nicest people in the support industry.
Aw.
And they're from America. I'm just saying.
They're from America.
Yeah.
And we're going to have somebody from silencershop.com on the radio next week. That is the promise that Jared has made you.
Next week, yes.
Next week. All right, it's Wednesday, and because it's Wednesday, it's one of our favorite days of the week, and we like to help you get through your Wednesday blues with a little bit of happy music.
Fantastic, pretty body ocean at the big tight and woman and nice, sweet, energetic, pretty body ocean at the big tight and woman and nice, sweet, fantastic, pretty body ocean.
I almost forgot my topic.
I
was like, what did I say I was going to talk about? I don't remember.
If we ever decide we don't want to use the King Julian, like a Move It music anymore, I have an alternate one for us.
Okay.
It's from Rage Against the Machine.
You want to drop it in the...
It's the one that says, dance, sucker. Remember
that?
Wow. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember
Moo,
that
sucker.
That's funny.
From, I always, every time I hear that, I think of Blades of Glory when they were doing the montage, the dance studio montage.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. What's the fat Tom Cruise? What's he dance to?
The Fat Tire. Oh no, that's the Flow Rider.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the Flow
Rider. I
Rider.
can't remember.
Florida.
But anyway, this is SWAT Fuel Fitness Talk. It's brought to you by SWAT Fuel, obviously. If you go to SWATfuelstore.com, and you can use the promo code right now. It is February, so use the promo code PREPARED. But if you listen to this after February 2016, use the promo code SOTG2015. And I know there's 2015 at the end, but it still works.
It still works.
Yeah. So today I want to talk about documentation. I've talked about this a little bit before, but it's time to do it again. We're on the third step of the process. First step is setting your goals. Second step is having an action plan to reach those goals. Third step is documentation. Is documenting your everything that you
Documenting?
What did I say?
Documentating.
Oh, did I really?
Documenting.
Whatever.
There you go.
It's
Documenting.
It's a word. Google it. Documenting your everything that you do to get to your goals. And the reason I say that is because documentation fuels dedication. If you can see the changes that you're making with yourself on paper, not just in a mirror, but if you can see it on paper, then your dedication will continue. You will be dedicated to continue what you're doing. And on the flip side of that, if you document everything that you do and you're not making progress, you can look at the documentation and say, oh, well, that's why I'm not having progress. Or you can say, that's why I'm not having progress, and this is how I'm going to fix it. So documentation fuels dedication.
There you go. Excellent.
When I paused there for a second, I looked at my screen, and my one tab that I had open for the opening song, now it says Shakira, Waka Waka.
Really?
And I was like, what?
Isn't that the one that you used for the making me a sandwich?
No, that was just the next video that came up after King Julian.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, why is that on my screen?
Oh, I thought that was is the Shakira. Isn't that the one that I like to make a sandwich or?
No, that's the other one, the rap chick.
The rapist,
Nicki Minaj. That's
I like to make a sandwich for you or whatever.
Something like that. I haven't played that in a while.
Yes, I do the cooking. Yes, I do the cleaning.
Yeah, that one.
All right, freaks and freakettes. Thank you to Jared, and thank you to our friends at SWAT Fuel. SWAT Fuel, think of it like this. Like, what's this all about? It's about sharper minds and stronger bodies. Could you use one of those? Does that sound like a good thing to you or not? I don't know. You tell me. We're going to move on and thank our friends at Century Arms, the sweetest mill and arms maker in the United States. Also, they're in addition to sponsors of Student of the Gun Radio, they're also the sponsors of the Student of the Gun mobile app. And if you've got the mobile app on your phone, and I don't know why you don't, if you don't, but you should, there's a little button right there. Doop. And you can tap the Century Arms button and go directly to their mobile website. And it's mobile friendly now. If you guys know, 5 years ago, Century Arms website was pretty archaic, and they've done a good job of bringing it into the 21st century.
I need to make an announcement real quick.
Do it.
Llewellyn Newton, if you can hear me right now, I've emailed you a couple times.
Llewellyn?
I need you to email me back because I have something for you. So
did you pronounce his name Llewellyn?
Yeah, I don't. That's what it says right here on the little email.
You sure it's not Llewellyn?
I don't know. Miss
Llewellyn?
Yeah.
Yeah, kids today, they don't know how to pronounce names. All right, Century Arms, Crossbreed Holsters.
It doesn't have any, accents or anything, so I don't know where to pronounce.
I know, kids today. Crossbreed Holsters, makers of the Bruce Jenner Commemorative, also known as the Super Tuck Deluxe, and they make lots of other stuff, too. If you're a chick and you want to carry a gun in a purse or a bag, they have the Purse Defender. They have the Bedside Backup. They have the, what do they call it? What's the one where you can mount it to everything? The RAM mount. Dudes and dudettes, this thing is phenomenal. If you're a gun culture person, if you're a gun person and you like having a gun at the ready wherever you happen to be, whether it's in a vehicle, on a car, on a ATV, a bike, I don't care. They have this really totally ninja setup. It's a RAM mount, and you can mount it to bars, or you can screw it into the side of a desk, or I don't care. And then they make what they call the Ojai gun pocket. which is specifically molded for your specific kind of gun, but it has a Velcro backing so you can swap it out. My point is this. If you want to attach a gun to your body or anything else, and I'm really, look at me. I'm talking anything else. Am I lying, Jared? Yes.
No, you're not lying.
Remember the armed on a bike segment that we did? That was pretty fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was fun.
Actually.
I like that. I got to ride a bike with my little
got to
Ram
ride a
mount
bike
on it.
with his Ram mount and his gun. Go to crossbreedholsters.com and just check them out and see what they've got for you.
Do they have their own brand of leather conditioner?
They should. They should.
If they don't, then they should.
You know how kids used to learn how to condition leather? And you learned this because I taught you way back when you were like 5 or 6 or whatever.
You know what? I probably learned to condition leather
when I taught you how to condition.
Yeah, in addition to that, but at 4-H shooting sports camp.
That's true too. At 4-H,
because the living history thing you used to teach that, so I'm sure that you. Yeah.
The basic way that American boys used to learn how to condition leather was when their dad taught them how to break in a baseball mitt.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Now?
Okay.
Remember rubbing the Neats foot oil on the mitt and
interesting.
Yeah. And that's been an American tradition for a century or so. And kids today, I didn't put that in the Honey Badger book, but I guess I should have. That's another one of the thousands of things that I probably should have put in there. But we used to do things that were actually physical. I was during the break from yesterday and today, I thought maybe there's an iPhone app maybe you can download an iPhone app to condition your leather holster. You can just like hold the phone up to your holster and point it at it, and it'll condition it. No, sometimes you actually have to. Is there an iPhone app to clean my guns? Can I just take the iPhone and set it down next to my gun and it'll clean it? No, you actually have to get physical sometimes.
I have an idea for an iPhone app now.
Oh, a leather conditioning iPhone app?
No, for cleaning guns. A good cleaning service. Interesting.
All right, Frog Lube. You want a clean gun? You should want a clean gun. You know what? I'm going to take just a real quick moment here to discuss something that apparently not everybody understands because, well, this is America 2016 and people don't know how to do things. They buy Frog Lube because they listen to us and they're like, okay, I trust you. I'm going to put Frog Lube. And they take whatever it is, their shotgun, their rifle, their pistol, that has a petroleum CLP or REM oil or Hoppy's number 9 or whatever. And they just squirt the Frog Lube on top of that. And then they're like, hey, the Frog Lube made my action all gummy and bound and it doesn't work.
Men, read the directions.
Yes, read the direcciones. You know why Frog Lube is having a hard time with the firearms culture or the gun culture? Because we're so stuck in everything we've done for the last 100 years. Where men are it's so difficult for them to embrace anything new or different. And the thing is that the concept behind Frog Lube really isn't new. It's actually old.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do Frog Lube, you get Frog Lube. And what I would highly recommend is don't just buy the CLP. Buy both the CLP and the solvent. And
so you put the CLP on and then you put the solvent on?
No, Artard. Don't say things wrong because people will only hear that part and that's all they'll remember.
Okay, well, erase that part that you just heard and listen to this part.
If you've got 5 years, 10 years, whatever worth of COP or Hoppy's number 9 or whatever on your gun, take the solvent, clean it all off, clean it well. You're like, really? Yeah, clean it well. And then once the metal is basically bare and dry and all the oil is off of it, then put the CLP on it, the Frog Lube CLP, and go out and shoot your gun. And
you said that it's
rinse,
hard,
lather, repeat.
It's hard for them to get in with the firearms industry because we're so stubborn.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that their product works on like machinery or door hinges or.
It works on
everything. Speaking of which,
I
need to take some home and put it on my freaking bathroom door hinge. Because at 6 o'clock in the morning, when I open the bathroom door and it goes, I'm like, I will kill you.
And where can you get Frog Lube from? Well, you could go over to Brownells.com, and you can order Frog Lube there. How convenient is that?
When's my Frog Lube gun going to be done?
Well, first of all, we have to strip it down.
Oh,
yeah, we have to strip it down. And
so you're going to strip it down.
All right. Yeah, we got to take it apart, clean it, and that's our next one is actually talking about Duracoat. We're going to do a green. We've got electric Everglades.
It's going to be fun.
I'm pretty excited about it. We've got electric Everglades green, and I'm going to tell you guys something. Now, professional gun refinishers, when people go to schools to learn how to refinish guns, they learn this stuff so they can do it right. But a lot of, garage shop guys like us, the biggest problem people have with refinishing a gun is they don't prep it well enough. And remember I talked about getting all the oil and everything off from the Frog Lube? Same thing applies to your gun. Whatever it is, I don't care what kind of gun it is. If you want to put Duracoat or any kind of finish, not just Duracoat, but any finish on that gun, you've got to get the oil, the grease, the gun grease, the oil, the whatever. You got to get that off there. You absolutely have to. Because if you apply a new finish on top of oil, guess what, Jack? It's not going to stick. It just won't. And you're going to be really pissed at yourself and I did this the first time because I'm a rockhead. The very first Can technology I got, 2-3 years ago, whenever it was, I was so excited. I went and I just gave my gun a cursory clean over, or what, I don't remember even what it was. And I was like, oh man, I can't wait to use this. And I ran out to the shop, to the shed, and I set everything up, and and then there was 3 or 4 places on it where I was like, I didn't clean it well enough. Because who wants to clean their guns? Nobody wants to clean them. But I'm telling you, now if you go to Duracoat.com, or you can get Duracoat stuff on Brownells, there's this thing called True Strip, and they recommend that you use their True Strip to get off all of the grease, oil, dirt, rust, anything. Get it off there. The gun needs to be bare bones. And then when it's bare bones, then you put the coating on it. Let it dry. Let it cure. That's the other mistake that people make, is they'll put a brand new finish on a gun. And now I know if you're in a factory or if you have a large facility, they have ovens. They have bake ovens, drying ovens, and so forth. Most of you probably don't have a great big bake oven thing. And you don't have to have that. You can let your stuff air dry. But if you let it air dry, you need to let the finish cure. Because if you slap that on there and then you do a pistol or a rifle or whatever, I don't care, and then the next day you can't wait to show all your buddies, so you run to the range with your gun and you're check it out. You're like, oh man, the coating came off, or well, duh. If you send a gun away to a finisher, generally you'll get it back and it'll have a note in there that says, attention, rockhead, because that's what you are. You're a rockhead. Don't go to the range with this thing for a couple of weeks. All right, moving on. Velocity Triggers at velocitytriggers.com. You got a black rifle? They have a trigger for you, and you can even install it at your own kitchen table.
Just do it.
Just do it, like Nikkei says. All right, let's get to the main topic of the day. What is a firearm? A firearm, in the eyes of Paul Markel and Student of the Gun, is first and foremost an instrument of liberty. Not a toy, not a tool for playing games. And yes, you can play games with guns. You can use guns as tools to play games with. That's cool. That's fun. But first, they're instruments of liberty. And we need to address liberty here at Student of the Gun. We do that. Now, what is liberty? Liberty is the ability to make a choice. The freedom to make a choice, if you will. The opportunity to make choices. Now, freedom is a result of making the correct choice. So you have liberty first, then you have freedom. You guys understand you cannot have freedom without liberty. Because freedom without liberty is just people telling you that you deserve stuff. I have the freedom to say what I want and do what I want and eat what I want. Freedom, 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 freedom.
Did you know that, actually, I'm sure most of you did know, but for all you new people, Student of the Gun Radio is the light of liberty.
We are. We've discussed that previously. We should make that a bonus episode, like we did with the Sermon on War. I'm going to go back to an article that I wrote for The Blaze, and this is almost a year ago. It was 11 months ago. It was published on March 20th, 2015. And I wrote this, and it was published too early. It was actually published too soon, before people really started to actually give a crap and pay attention, because everyone's, got other stuff to do. They have fantasy football leagues to worry about, and the big game and all that other nonsense. But the title of the story is The 2016 Presidential Campaign, Searching for a Savior. And I'm going to read you a little quote. It says, "What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun." Now, how many times have you folks out there heard someone say or seen it written, "There's nothing new under the sun"? Jared, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many of you know where that came from and who the author of that quote was?
I was looking, Alexander Hamilton. No, that's not it.
No.
Dang it. I was looking on the notes to try to find
No,
the
it was
answer,
King Solomon.
Oh.
In the book of Ecclesiastes.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes,
Wow.
I am right. I am correct.
I was looking way too hard for that one.
Yes. So once again, we Americans, we find ourselves searching for a savior. And you're like, well, what do you mean searching for a savior? Every 4 years we do this.
Can I take a quick aside?
Sure, take a quick aside.
Because I really feel like a douche now, because everybody that went through the Faith and the Patriot series should know where that came from, because that's your favorite verse. Is it not? The Ecclesiastes, that's your favorite book?
Well, yeah. If you a lot of people have read Proverbs, and it's a good read, and you should read it. But many people they will read, like, for instance, if you got one of the little pocket New Testaments, like from the Gideons, it has the New Testament plus Psalms and Proverbs.
Did you know that my iPhone app has everything?
Well, of course it does.
I just wonder.
But Book of Ecclesiastes, you need to read that. Basically, the time for, the song from, I think it was the Byrds.
Yeah.
To turn to everything. Turn. There's a season, a time to weep, a time to dance, and all that. That's Ecclesiastes.
Yeah.
And most people don't. Most hippies don't know that. They don't even know that song. It's like this hippie anthem that they sing it as a hippie anthem. But it comes from the Book of Ecclesiastes, which was written by King Solomon.
I didn't mean to get off track, but if you guys haven't seen that series yet, go to faithandthepatriot.com, and you can do that. Now I'll let that get back to what he was saying.
All right, so every 4 years, like clinically insane people, we do the same thing in the United States of America. Every 4 years, we look at the country and we say, I don't like that. I don't like the way we're headed. I don't like what's going on. I don't like it. So I'm going to change it. I'm going to fix it. We're going to make everything right again by finding one individual human being that will be our savior. And we, Republicans or Democrats or whatever, but primarily Republicans, primarily conservative type people, we argue with each other over who the savior is going to be. Who is going to be our savior? And, right now, if you go back in time, I mean, I'm pushing, 5 decades on planet Earth, and I've been paying attention for quite a long time. And, every 4 years we have a crop of candidates, and we eventually whittle it down to one person, and we put all of our hopes and dreams in that one person. And if they don't get elected, then everything is over. Or if they do, then everything is great. Folks, let me go ahead and refer you back to this little crazy thing called the Federalist Papers. Now, the Federalist Papers, a lot of folks, it was an argument by, well, I don't have my copy on my desk because I actually cleaned my desk. Did you notice that, Jared, how I cleaned up the studio? And
yeah, I was surprised.
Got that mountain of clutter. Well, I had to install the new turntable, so I needed more room. But the Federalist Papers, a lot of people assume that the Federalist Papers are basically an argument for a big central government that controls every aspect of our lives. And that's not actually the case at all. If you read it, if you get in there, it's a tough read because it was written in like 1780 speak. And I'm going to go ahead and say, I'll go on record again, is the people in the 1780s had a greater grasp of the English language than we do today, especially your kids. Your kids are being just like taught to grunt and groan and, make up words and what have you. But back then they knew, and there were many, many warnings in the Federalist Papers. In Federalist Paper 18, Alexander Hamilton advised that the citizens of the United States must be wary of the, quote, wantonness and lust of domination would be sufficient to that disposition. Now, what was he talking about? He was talking about the legislature, the executive, and the government. Hamilton was speaking directly to the tyranny of the head of government, and to that end he advised further, still it may be safely affirmed that the sense of the constituent body of the national representatives, or in other words, the people of the several states, would control the indulgence of so extravagant of an appetite. Now, the extravagant appetite that Hamilton is talking about is that of people that are in power, that get put into a position of power. And we've all heard the power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. You've heard that, right? We've heard that. They understood that back in the 1700s, in the 18th century. They understood when we were forming this nation that people who find themselves in positions of power very rarely are willing on their own to relinquish that power. They kind of get used to it, and they like it, and they want to keep it. And that has been not just the history of the United States of America, but the history of mankind. So how do we keep that person from lusting for power, from power corrupting and absolute power corrupting absolutely? Well, those crazy white old men back in the 1700s, they examined history, and they understood that as long as you allow a small majority of people, or one or a few, a monarchy or a theocracy or whatever, an oligarchy, if you allow them, whether their intentions are good or not, whether or not they made you really awesome, great, wonderful promises when they were trying to get your votes, their tendency is going to be to seek power and to consolidate that power. And once they get there, to tell you, well, I know I said I was going to do this, but I changed my mind. So what was the solution? What was the answer that we were given? Well, the answer we were given was to create a House of Representatives who represented the people directly. And if you read the Constitution, if you read constitutional history, if you studied it actually, you would find that the bulwark, the majority of the power and authority it rests within the House of Representatives. And why is that? Because the House of Representatives are directly elected every 2 years by the people of the states. Not federal judges that get lifetime appointments, not the chief executive who is only one man. And people say, Washington's ineffective because they're always bickering and they're always that's the way it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be easy for a few ruling class people to just decide that their will be done. That's not how it's supposed to be. The founders set up the system so that it would be difficult to just arbitrarily change things. That's why the Constitution, that's why amending the Constitution is so difficult. It was set up like that on purpose. Now, as you guys know, I've been reading The Compact of the Republic, The League of States and the Constitution by David Benner. It's a fantastic book. Anybody who gives one rat's fanny about the future of the nation of the United States, of the representative republic, you owe it to yourself to pick up this book. Go to freaking Amazon and buy one. And if you haven't done that yet, you're wrong, but you still can fix yourself. Now, I've actually been reading this like I do many books. I've been reading it with a pen and a highlighter handy so that I can take notes. And in Chapter 4, the Philadelphia Convention and the state ratification conventions, and this is about the constitutional ratification, he has a quote from Alexander Hamilton. And I was reading this here just recently, and I put a sticky note inside because I knew I wanted to come to the microphone and talk to you about it. And this regarding the passage of the Constitution and the power of the executive and the legislative branches and so forth, Alexander Hamilton said the following. And they were talking specifically about, at this time, they were talking about taxation and money and coining money and so forth. And it says, will any man who entertains a wish for the safety of his country trust the sword and the purse with a single assembly, organized on principles so defective? Question mark there. Though we might give to such a government certain powers with safety, yet to give them full and unlimited powers of taxation and the national forces would be to establish a despotism, the definition of which is a government in which all power is concentrated in a single body. Now, the key phrases that I wanted you guys to pull from that, in Alexander Hamilton was concerned about a single assembly controlling the sword and the purse. You and Alexander Hamilton?
Yeah, we're birthday brothers.
Very cool. Congratulations. Now, obviously, by the sword, he means guns, firearms, arms. And if you read the original context, if you read the founding documents and so forth, and even the letters that went into them, you'll see a lot of references for the sword. And the sword is also used biblically. Essentially, the sword means arms. It just doesn't mean a physical sword. You're like, oh, in 1784 they had muskets and cannons and stuff. Yeah, I understand, but Alexander Hamilton is very concerned that one single authority figure will have all control over the purse, money, and the sword, arms. And he states in there that if you allow a single assembly to control both the sword and the purse, you have a recipe for despotism. Now, I know a lot of you went to public school here in the last 20 years, and you hear the word despotism, and you're like, what? A despot is an unjust ruler, someone who is tyrannical, the head of a tyranny, a tyrannical ruler. Oh, I get it now. Like a bad thing. Yes, a bad thing. Hamilton warned us all the way back in the 1780s during the Constitutional Convention that the last thing we wanted to do as a nation was to give one single authority figure control over all of the arms and the money. Wow. Is your mind not blown? Consider the United States of America circa 2016. Who is it that's trying to control all of the arms and all of the money? If you put all of the arms and all of the money into the hands of a central authority, you will de facto devolve into a state of despotism, a tyranny. Is that what you want for your nation? Jared, is that what you want for your nation?
No, that is not what I want for my nation.
Now, one other thing I wanted to mention as you bump me out here is, as I've been reading the Compact of the Republic, it occurred to me that it is a very close second or good substitute for the political thought of the American Revolution. I still think every one of you out there in the audience needs to find, secure, get a hold of the book, The Political Thought of the American Revolution by Clinton Rossiter. But they're hard to find. And in the meantime, I want you to pick up The Compact of the Republic by David Benner, Benner.
And you guys that are part of the grad program, or actually any of you, if you want a signed copy of that, you obviously can't get that from Amazon, but if you want a signed copy, I can put you in contact with somebody that can get you one. So email info@studentofthegun.com if you want a signed copy, and I will get that to the correct person.
Your will is going to be tested this year. Your resolve will be tested. How do you strengthen your resolve? How do you steel your mind against the lies, misconception, propaganda that you're going to be bombarded with? Education, information, knowledge. And this is how you get it. You need to understand that the representative republic didn't just happen by accident. It was very deliberate. It was very purposeful. And they took a lot of time considering how to form the greatest nation in the history of the world. And right now there are forces at work to try and disassemble it and build it back as something unrecognizable. Remember, you are a beginner once, but you should indeed be a student for life.
And speaking of education, your homework for today is go to studentofthegun.com, sign up for the 7 training tips that could save your life. That is very important. Go do it.